Perfect. 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 Perfect.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talk indeed. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl.
Yeah. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that family? What's going on to the black and gold family in the building? Who that to all the beautiful black and gold diehards across the great Saint Think Tank Nation? Who that? Once again, dropping it on your family. Good to see the family in the live stream, man. It's a surprise stream, just dropping it on your family. I was coming across a few news articles and I decided just to talk to the family. I won't hold you guys long today on this episode of the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And I like to say, like I always been saying over the last 5 years of doing the Sports Coma, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, if you don't know. This is the Sports Coma, aka the Great Saints Think Tank, man, which means a beautiful collage of some of the most brilliant, diehard, most intelligent, passionate black and gold fans that you ever knew. That's it. That's what's in here. That's what the Great Saint Think Tank is comprised of. And much love to everybody in the live stream. Who that to you? Or if you aren't a Great Saint Think Tank member, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and follow the best of the Saints Nation, man. Much love to the great family members in the live stream. Tori Shepard, who that to you, Tori? Good to see you in the chat. Kevin McKnight, what up, Kevin? Good to see your family. Who that to you? Chili Productions, who that to you, Chili? Good to see you, fam. Young City says New Orleans Saints. Young City, who that to you? Byron, what up, Byron? Who that to you, man? Good to see you in the chat. Travis 504, much love to you, fam. I see you. Does Kids, who that to you as well? Dada, Big Dog Dada in the building. 985J in the building. Much love to my dog 985J representing Hammond, Louisiana, fam. He in the building. Much love to him and the family doing big entrepreneurial things out there in Hammond. Much love to the family as well. Good to see you. Jerry Poirier, good to see you, Jerry. Good to see your family. Who that to you, Jerry? Much love to your family. Welcome to the live stream, family. Appreciate your support. Chris Rooks, who that to you, Chris? Who that to your family? Jason King, who that to you, Jason? Good to see you as well in the chat. Let's see who else we got there. Joe Gidry. What up, Joe? Good to see you, Joe. Let's see. Kieran the Great 84. Who that to you, Kieran? Thank you, family, for joining us on tonight's live stream. Who that to you as well. John Thompson. Who that to you, John? I see you, family. Much love to you and Yearn on this day. Till, my dog Till in the building. Who that to you, Till? It's representing in the building, doing big things as well. Much love to you, fam. I see you. All the great Saint Tank. Kelvin, what up, Kelvin? Washington from Phoenix, Arizona. What up, Kel? How you doing, fam? Trey Joseph, who that, fam? I see you, LBR Productions 1. Who that to your family? Good to see you as well. Much love. Who that MVP? That's right. Well, he says, who that to you? Who that to you? Who that MVP? Welcome to the live stream, fam. Much love to you. Thank you for your support. And also, let's see, diehard Saints fan. What up, fam? He says, we live, baby. What's up, everybody? Cheryl, who that, Cheryl? Good to see Cheryl. Who that for life? That's right, Cheryl. Good to see you, baby, in the live stream on this episode of the Sports Coma. Just giving a shout out to the family members. Customarily, this is like, as far as the Sports Coma is concerned, it's considered like an off day. We do several other streams, several other streams, or not just besides our Saints talk, but we do Pelican talk, Tiger talk, boxing talk. We always talking. We talk a lot. We talk a lot. We got a lot of stuff going on. But who that to the Black and Gold family joining us? Please hit the like button. On this episode of the Sports Coma, man, I want to give a big shout out to everybody, man, for joining the live stream. Tori, who that to you once again. Boo Nichols, what up, Boo? Good to see you, family. Thank you for joining us, man. He says, who that till the toe tag. That's right. That's who that for life, baby. Ride or die, that black and gold till you're dead and cold, baby. I got you, baby. I got you. Who that to you? Boo Nichols. Thank you, fam. In this episode, fam, I just wanted to holler at y'all, man. 985 Live, what up? So we got 985 and 985 Live and 985J in the building. The 985's in the camp. So, I just want to holler at the family, man, and drop something on you on this Monday episode. Really, I mean, just a surprise stream to the family members, just to talk to you on some Clowney news, man. And I was looking over some articles, man, and I seen that Clowney, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Please hit the like button as we get ready to move into this. And I wanted to, of course, if most people didn't know it or not, that, another team is joining the fray, jumping into the Clowney sweepstakes, and I want to get you guys opinions of this, and I guess I can run a poll, and I'll probably have one of the team members to set a poll on the community section of the page to decide if the Saints, would it be a good idea. Most of the family members want Jadevon Clowney to be on the team. Me personally, I would take Everson Griffin. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I would take Everson Griffin because I think you can get Griffin cheaper than you can get with Clowney, and I think you can still get the same kind of production. I think Everson Griffin would be a better fit for whatever reason. I just don't get it. That the Saints are not even looking at Everson Griffin, and I just don't get how you could be so tunnel visioned, how you can just pay attention to one person and not look at this other guy over here. You're obviously interested in Clowney and the Saints, but no thought process toward a guy that would tear you up every time you played. And most of the great Saint think tank, y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all remember Everson Griffin. Every time the Saints played, what did Everson Griffin do? You know, he made some type of impact. He'll make some type of play. He'll make a tackle. He'll provide some pressure, and he'll get a sack or two in the game when Griffin played. He gives Teron Armstead the fits when he plays every time. And to me, we seen enough of Everson Griffin to know that he'd be a better fit, in my humble opinion, than a Jadevon Clowney, who's still trying to cash out. The truth of the matter still is this, fam, is that Clowney money is there. There are several teams that's interested in giving him the funds. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, who that to you? Thank you, Jerry. Who that to you, Revolt? Much love to you, fam. Then welcome to the live stream as well. My dog Revolt out in the mighty Georgia. But that's the thing that's interesting to me, family, about all this, is the fact that he's pushing the $15 to $17 million parameter. Remember, he wanted 20 flat. That was a serious demand. A lot of people consider this man the top pass rusher on the market. And, you know, he's youthful wise, he's there. Now, he had coming off the 3-sack performance. Prior to that, he had 2 back-to-back seasons of 9 sacks, which is respectable. You know, if you can get your defensive end to average 9 sacks a season, I would say that's a win. You know, that's something to build upon. But like me and a lot of Saints family members believe that a better fit, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys might differ, but I think Griffin would be a better fit at a cheaper price. Karen says that the Clowney wants $17 million. No team won't pay him for that amount of money. I said this on TJ's State of the Saints podcast. If Saints sign Clowney, it probably will be for 1 year, $7-8 million. I don't know if he goes for that. You got to really come down off of it. But there at $17 million, you're right, Karen. That that is not the rate that nobody's gonna pay him $17 million. I mean, there are actually two concrete offers that was put out to him for close to that $17 million, which is just 15. The Browns and the Seahawks have officially said that they would offer him $15 million, you know, for one season. But he doesn't want to play for Seattle or Cleveland, you know. So he's looking at the Saints, and then of course the Cowboys, and then another team jumped into it today. Revolt said he got a sweepstakes going. I mean, he trying to cash out, man. But I'm gonna share my screen with the family members that show that an additional team has jumped into the fray. So if you don't know, Jadevon Clowney, new contract. Raiders have jumped in. That's right. The black and silver have joined the sweepstakes, as Revolt Control has said, and the Raiders offer Clowney new contract, but it's worth less than the offers from multiple teams. And they're interested. I'm just like, man, what the hell, man? Why is nobody looking at Everson? What's wrong with Everson Griffin? I'm gonna have to do some real in-depth research on what's going on with Everson Griffin, for real, man. I mean, he should be in this conversation. I don't see why they all bat crazy over Jadevon Clowney. You know, it's what it is. Fireman in a Hellcat, thank you, fam. He says, this guy never got 10 sacks in college, never had 10 sacks in the pros. At what point will we fall out of love with one great hit from college? Yeah, you know, Fireman, bro, you are absolutely right. The closest he has ever got is to those back-to-back 9-sack seasons. You're right. And it's just his athleticism, and they're just blown away by it. I just don't get why. Who that to you, Joshua? I just don't see how and why, man. I know his athleticism, and I like what he could do. But, you know, you paying a $15 to $17 million. That's something you would pay a starting level, your top tier defensive end, not your secondary end. You see what I'm saying? You pay your secondary end, but that kind of money to me is kind of asinine. But anyway, let's go over the article. This is from CBS Sports right here. Raiders offer Jadevon Clowney a contract worth less. He's in the fray now. Now, the Raiders have made a contract offer for free agent defensive end Jadevon Clowney, according to Cecil Laramie of 104.3. The offer is supposedly less than the 2 or 3 other teams presented. Laramie adds that Gruden really wants Clowney, but manager Mike Mayock and Davis have been unwilling to budge on increasing the financial compensation of the offer. According to the Daily Update NFL Association public salary cap report, the Raiders have roughly about just under $8 million in salary cap space. The team is already substantially connected to guys like Nick Kowalski and Corey Littleton, as well as Carl Nassib this past offseason. Now, the Raiders have previously mentioned a potential suitor for Jaguars edge rusher Yannick Ngakoue. Hope I'm saying that right, man. Ngakoue. It's interesting, man. Clowney remains the best free agent on the market. 7-year player out of South Carolina, is known for his ability to stuff the run, then sack the quarterback. Has never recorded more than 9.5 sacks in the season, which could explain why teams have been so hesitant to dole out $22 million or more that he's been seeking initially. Last season, he recorded 31 tackles. He had 3 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception in 13 games. Although he has only missed 9 games over the past 5 seasons, there are concerns over the core knee injuries sustained through his career. During this time in our nation's history, it's more difficult to travel and receive medical clearance teams will require before opening the checkbooks. Now, of course, they give you some background information about him from the past when his collegiate career. He's native of South Carolina, reportedly lowered his asking price to about $17 million and will be content playing a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. And there's also other points about him dropping his asking price to right around that $15 million range. And there is no timetable. A lot of people can't say there is a timetable on what he's looking at, but we got to assume that it'll be close to the season. He wants to be signed before the season. Well, this is a good amount of time before the official season starts, so we just have to monitor the situation. But it's believed that the Browns have extended the most lucrative deal for Clowney, but his interest in the AFC North franchise, he doesn't have any. Opposite talented edge rushers Myles Garrett, Clowney would face fewer double teams. New defensive coordinator Joe Woods come over from the Niners system that perpetually flustered opposing quarterbacks. The Titans have also expressed interest. Mike Vrabel served as the coordinator from the Texans when the 27-year-old had his best statistical pass rush season. Relationships. The Seahawks cannot be ruled out either, as they did say that they'll ante up $15 million for him, despite adding Bruce Irvin and Darrell Taylor. Seattle would be appealing because there's familiarity with the two parties. Now, the edge rusher is the largest fish in the pond, and after waiting this long, does not appear rushed to make a decision. NFL training camps are scheduled to commence on July the 28th, so there's still time here. So, if you want to look at the camps opening up, you would say that Jadevon Clowney is going to weigh his decision process between now and July the 28th, when he'll make a decision on what team it is. Now, what's more important, in your opinion, to Jadevon Clowney? Based on what you guys know, the Great Saint Think Tank, based on what you guys know, what is the most glaring indication of what Clowney wants? He says he wants to play for a contender. Yeah, that's one. 2 is most of the contenders, which he named, which is Dallas and the Saints. Let's just eliminate the Raiders. The Raiders don't have a shot in hell unless they decide. Well, then again, he didn't name them, so let's just throw them out. And really, the 2 teams you're looking at is, of course, the Saints and the Cowboys. Now, if you can see here, this is just more proof of what I was saying. Is willing Browns, of course, CBS is reporting Browns willing to pay Clowney. Look at that, $15 million in 1 year. You go to the next report just to prove what I said again. Look, facts, stats. Seattle offered Clowney $15 million for 1 year. So as you can see, I'm just merely documenting for the show's archives for the fact that we have mentioned that Clowney doesn't have a $17 million market. He has a $15 million market. But our team's desperate enough to dole out the additional $2 million. But I digress. I'll go back to the original question, which is, what does Clowney want? Does he want to play for a contender? Or does he want to? Does he want the money? Well, Q, he wants both of them. Well, he can't have both. If you're a Saints group, as we are, we would automatically look at and say to ourselves, what would we do about getting Clowney? Well, our GM Mickey Mouse Loomis has the ability to graft contracts in such a way that he can be able to afford this man. I mean, it's just Mickey Loomis. He can create a 2-year deal with Clowney and then give him this year a $2 or $3 million deal for this year, then backload the phantom year. You see what I'm saying? He can do that. We know he can pull this off, but do he do it? Do he do it? That's the thing. We sitting at the Saints sitting just at what, $9 million and cap. We looking at the other guys. Dallas looking at $11 million. There's various reports saying that Dallas wants him. But there's also trade scenarios around Jamal Adams in Dallas, and now Jadevon Clowney. The Raiders have cycled into the fray. So what do you guys think about this transaction? What do you guys think? Who that tell you? Josh says, 985 Live says, give me Griffin. Thank you, Travis 506. Why don't we just let them fight over Clowney and go get Griffin? I mean, I'm saying, what is the attraction here? And why are you not? Usually, if you're smart, and we know our people are smart, we know our administrators are smart, we know they are. What's the infatuation with Jadevon Clowney? I understand his raw athleticism and what he can possibly be next to Cam on the other end and that entire Saints defensive line. But what's the infatuation with Jadevon Clowney? What's the infatuation? Why aren't and then usually if you're really intelligent, well, like we give our Saints administrators, we're talking about Mickey Loomis and the rest, Sean Payton. Usually you would operate with a plan A or B. Now, we've documented this in past shows. We kind of laid out the idea, the mentality. Remember that we went back. Let's go back in time for a second and kind of look at this a different perspective. Remember, not too long ago, the Saints were signing guys to reinforce the defensive line position opposite of Davenport. Various reports are saying Davenport is healthy. He's ready to contribute, right? Well, we thought the Saints were all in him. The draft went past. The draft that was, I was saying, edge rusher. The Saints didn't take an edge rusher or a defensive lineman. They took a linebacker. So when they took the linebacker, he's Zach Bond, who mostly will help in the linebacker duties. He can situational pass rush, but that's not a surefire thing. You don't know how his game would translate in this initial year. And I'm not saying futuristic as far as Zach Bowen is concerned. We need production if you're going to do that this year, because we don't know what's happening with Drew Brees. See, that's the problem. If you drafting guys and you're saying you got a long range perspective on what these guys are going to do over time, we don't have time for guys to mature into the future. Not right now. We need something surefire right now, today, that can help this year. With why, Q? Because of the Drew Brees situation. What's the Drew Brees situation? Drew said that he'll be retiring after this year to go talk about football. If that is indeed the case, then we don't have that extra year or so to wait for these guys to mature and figure it out. You need somebody right then. Well, that wasn't the Saints' mentality not too long ago. The mentality was simply to get behind Davenport for the third year again, throw all your support behind Davenport, then reinforce him with guys like Zach Bowen, Margus Hunt, Granderson, Trey Hendrickson, who's healthy, Anthony Chiquillo, who they signed, who has situational pass rush ability. Remember, we were thinking this guy's just a special teams guy that was going to sign. It was the team who mentioned that he can also situational pass rush, which they said that because they were looking at the fact that if something happened to Davenport, we can simply circle these guys or cycle these guys in to have some impact. Well, that's fine and all, but all of a sudden something happened in their thinking. Their thinking then changed to let's go after Jadevon Clowney. Well, the issue is Jadevon Clowney is going to cost $15 million or upwards and probably just north of that. That's the part. He's going to cost money. Guess what? If you pay Jadevon Clowney that money, he has to start. So that pushes Davenport down to a bench to the situational pass rusher role. Okay, then. But there was a change in mindset. That's fine. Anybody could change their mind. We do this all the time. We'll get fresh information and we'll say, you know what? Let's rethink this thing and let's just update our thinking here. You know, let's update our thinking, which what the Saints did, right? Okay, that's fine. But if you're updating your thinking, saying Jadevon Clowney could be an asset, let's look at him. Then why are you not saying the same thing for Everson Griffin? So you mean to tell me it's just plan A and there's no B or C? Don't tell me if you don't get Clowney that you're going to go and, okay, we'll pick up on some other end who just will not beat out Davenport as a starter. I just don't understand the rationale. I'm just merely working this thing through. Joshua says, how can he be considered the best? He isn't consistent. He is hit or miss. Look at what Griffin did to Ram and Teron in the playoffs. I know, Josh, good point there. But everybody, the mainstream media that we love to breed and support so much, have said that he's the top free agent left. The hell with Everson Griffin and all that 70-something sacks that he accrued over his career. You know, it's just I just don't know what to say about it, man. But the truth is, July the 28th, that's when the camps get underway. And you would think that between now and then that he'll be looking at signing. So I'm anticipating some news on this to be happening. It's July the 6th now. July the 28th is a few weeks away. So between now and there, you can see a guy like this signing. Of course, you heard about Kansas City giving Mahomes a 10-year contract. A 10-year contract to Patrick Mahomes. All right, let's keep it going. Javier, who that to you, Javier? Good to see you in the chat. Josh says, Big Q, I want Clowney. I don't want Clowney. I want someone who produces week after week. Not here this week, gone the next week too. I hear you, Josh. Thank you for that. All right, let's keep it going. Torres says, who that to everybody? Pretty much Josh said, could be isn't worth 17 million. Give me a definite producer across from Cam. It's just weird, but it's that the point is this. They are looking for a starter. This dude's a starter, which gives me the inclination that something's up with Is something up with Davenport? For you to have a switching, you see what I'm saying? I'm saying that to go from reinforcing Davenport to then looking to put somebody over the top of him, is something wrong with Davenport? I mean, I'm just asking the question to the Great Saint Think Tank, because when stuff like this happens, it was like a shift, and it was pretty radical too. One day, it just happened out of the blue. Saints interested in Jadevon Clowney. And it wasn't the fact that the Saints could have signed anybody. They could have signed Ziggy Ansah, who was out there. They looked at him last year. There's Jabal Sherrod. There are the second degree pass rushers. You forgoed all those guys and just said Clowney. And Clowney's is perceived as the top free agent that's left, and he will get $15 million. Or close to it. Somebody's going to give him. There's several teams willing for him to take the money. If he wants the money, he will. Jerry could few up some dollars to give it to him. We'll see if Mickey Mouse Loomis could do it as well. All right, family. But that's what I'm talking about in this one, man. I don't know. I'm not going to hold you guys long. I just wanted to get at you and kind of run that across the Great Saint Think Tank, because I came across like, man, what is this? What is Jadevon Clowney up to now? We know he wants to get paid. He deserves to get paid. But I'm saying this, if the Saints are looking at Jadevon Clowney, why are we not looking at Everson Griffin or Marcus Golden, who had 10 sacks last year, or Clay Matthews, who had 8 sacks last year in a limited role, or any of these other guys that can help? But if you look at Clowney's a starter. And the way I think, if they're looking at Clowney, there's something wrong with Davenport. You see what I'm saying? Why is the philosophy change? You know, you don't just wake up and just change your mind. You got to have some kind of information to spur the process to do something else. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't decide to, like, if you get up and you plan on taking a trip, you're gonna check the weather report. And and if there's a route where you know there's bad weather there, you're gonna plot your route around the bad weather. So I mean, that would spur you to change your mind and do something different. What was the item that spurred the Saints to change their mind? Is it a health component that we are missing here with Davenport? There are various reports saying Davenport is healthy and ready to contribute. Is he really? You heard about Kiko Alonso. You heard about Alex Anzalone. You heard about Sheldon Rankins. You heard about several other Saint players who were injured, who are now listed as healthy and ready to contribute. What about Davenport? Is he truly healthy? You know, this in my opinion, this is a big deal. It's also the same like when Malcolm Jenkins came out and people just perused right over the Malcolm Jenkins thing when he was talking about, I don't know about the football is a non-essential business. We don't need to be playing no football right now. You know, I don't want to get nobody, I don't want to get sick and all this kind of stuff, right? Which is fine. But people perused over that. But if he really feels that way and says he don't feel comfortable and pull out, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to that secondary? because Davenport was a guy that we were looking at to really help out on the back of that defense. If Davenport feels that way, what then? People are not talking about that. That's a big deal, because if he feels that way, that's problematic for the Saints secondary and the Saints defense, in my opinion. So that's some of the stuff I want to hit you guys with, man, and talk to you guys about on this Monday. I won't hold you too long. Just wanted to give you a shout out and run and exhaust the chat. So you guys have any chat questions, just hit the chat up. You know, I exhaust the chat, and and I recognize the family members as well. Who that to the family joining in? Mr. Boombastic, good to see your family. Ken Rasa, who that to you? Ken Rasa Bloodstone, much love to your family. Lloyd Vaughn, what up, Lloyd? Good to see you in the chat. Trail Hatch, who that to you? Trail, I see your family, much love to you and Yearn. Lloyd says, do you think Sean has discussed Griffin with Minnesota coach? His mental is playing a part in this. Notice nobody jumped on him. That's a good point, Lloyd. That's a good point. Remember, he disappeared and they attributed to mental issues, or he had some problems he had to deal with. That's interesting. That could be a component, because it's most certainly not his production. He's not injured, so it has to be something that they're taking Clowney and putting Clowney, say he's a top man, when Jadevon Clowney is getting lapped by Everson Griffin in production. He has like what, 30 or 40 something sacks in his career or something like that. Everson Griffin got like 70 plus sacks in his career. So I that's a great point, Lloyd. It could be the mental aspect in it, playing in this stuff, and that I have to think about that. I have to mull that over, man. But that's a very great point. Once again, thank you, Fireman in the Hellcat, with your super chat, friend. Appreciate that. And that was a really excellent comment too about Griffin. We're not drinking the Kool-Aid on Jadevon Clowney. Now I want Clowney to come in, but he got to also realize that the black and gold he's a luxury item. He's not like what Cleveland knows. Cleveland knows that he knows that they need him. We want you to partner up with Myles Garrett. Cleveland is desperate, so they're saying, listen, we got the money. Let's go get this guy. Let's give him whatever he wants. But the reality is, guess what? He doesn't want their money, and they're giving it to him. We'll give. If anybody's going to give him the $17 million, it'll be Cleveland. He said, well, look, just give me $2 more million and I'll be yours. But the reality is, he doesn't want to play for them or Seattle. He wants to come down south and play either for Dallas or the Saints. Well, both of these teams, you waited too long to say that. If you'd have said that early, perhaps something could have been done. But it's just strange to me that even if you think Everson Griffin has a mental health component, which there are several Saints players that went through similar things, that's been dealing. They ain't take time away from the team in that perspective. But we deal with mental health here in the black and gold building as well. But we just have a better locker room to be able to absorb what's going on, and we're more family oriented to help our players adjust to whatever's going on. And I think that's a part of it as well. So Everson, look, for instance, look at Jameis Winston. Who is more mental than Jameis Winston? I mean, seriously, no disrespect, but good grief. This guy's given us a ton of work to think over about mental health. And Jameis Winston could be the poster child in the NFL for mental health. But Jameis Winston knew that he was missing that and came to New Orleans. I'm pretty sure that could be a component. If the Saints sign Jameis Winston, is Everson Griffin more or less, depending on how you're looking at it, than Jameis Winston is? Is he more mentally, unbalanced, let's just say it like that, than Everson Griffin? But the Saints took Winston, though. You see what I'm saying? That's my rationale. And my thing is, the key two questions here. Is there something wrong with Davenport right now for the Saints to be looking at a starting defensive end, right? To the point where they're considered the second favorite. Sean Payton them could really work the deal and take him. They could sign him. They could sign him. I know we just got $9 million, but that don't mean nothing. Having $9 million to the Saints is like having $20 million or $25 million. The way Mickey Loomis could put a 2 or 3 year contract together for Jadevon Clowney, well, 1 year as a playable year, 2 years, 9 playable years, and then break the contract up into 2 years and spread it into the future. He can afford them with creative book cooking like that. Let's not just look straight up. Okay, we only got 9. We can't afford that fool. You talking about 15. The Saints could afford whoever they want, player. You know, it could be right now. Rumor is they're working on something from Alvin Kamara as well. So he been hinting on it in social media and stuff like that, dropping little crumbs and breadcrumbs and stuff like that. Could be. We'll see. Remember July the 28th when everything busts open. Please hit the like button, family. Jerome, good to see you in the chat. Jerome, Inevitable Expertise, good to see you in the chat. Lori Hackler, what up, Lori? Good to see you, baby, in the chat. Much love to you and Yearn. Good to see you in the chat as well. Much love to you. Eddie Evans, what up, Eddie? Good to see you, fam. Let's see, Joshua said, how can you consider? Okay, Eddie says, who that, family? Hi, everybody doing fine. I hope and pray. Thank you, man. Trey Joseph, who that, Dre? He said, if he doesn't want to join, cool, but I think he will. He has to be aware that the black and gold has dominated the NFC South the last 3 years. He trying to make easy money is what he trying to do. Anytime you trying to command somebody to pay you $15, $16, $17 million and you coming in as the second end, none of these other teams except for possibly Seattle, he has the propensity to be a first round defensive end talent for, meaning he's the top edge rush talent for that team. If you go and look at Cleveland, I would say Myles Garrett is probably will be that dude. He'll complement Myles Garrett. You go down to either the two teams that he wants to play, the Saints and Dallas. Dallas has their bookend. He'll be a compliment to DeMarcus Lawrence. In the Saints, he'll be a compliment to Cam Jordan. But it's the fact the Saints are looking to get on top of the situation. That's very strange here. Thank you, Gerald Holmes, for joining the Great Saint Think Tank. Much love to you, Gerald Holmes. Who that to your family? For joining the Great Saint Think Tank. Ice Cream Man. What up, Ice Cream Man? 504. Who that to your family? Demetric Holmes. Who that to you, Demetric? I see your family. Let's see. Say Damn T. I hope I'm saying that right, man. Let me see if I got that right. I might butchered the hell out of that man name. Let me see here. Let me make sure I got it right, man. I got to take it. El Sahad. El Saddam. I'm sorry, bro. I mean, I who that to you? Thank you, family. I appreciate you. I hope I ain't butchered your name. I sound like I did, but who that to your family? Tragic 504. James Combs, who that to you, James? I see your family. Ostrucid God, that's my son. Who that to you as well? Joining it. You did. Break it down for me, fam. Break it down. Put it phonetically. Break it down for me, bro. I'll get it. El Sahed. Is that it? El Sahed? Am I getting it? Brew Man, who that to you, Brew Man? I see you, fam. Okay, thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. You good, man? All right, appreciate you, fam. Thank you. You know I'm going to try, bro. You know I'm going to try, but I apologize if I mess something up. Trail says, I think Eric Reed's a good fit for the Saints. That would be good. If Swearinger wasn't there, I think that would probably be a good fit. V1 Extinct XL, what's that? How do you think Breeze will match against Brady when you think, he said, and when do you think we will sign Clowney? Well, that's the thing, bro. If the Saints are in the building, they're competing with Jerry Jones for Clowney. They have a couple of $1 million more of money right now, which means nothing because Mickey can get very creative. As far as the first part about the first part of the question, how do you think Breeze will match up against Brady? I think Breeze and Brady matches up very well against Tom Brady. It's been, every few years we would see those two play, and when they play, it was always something spectacular. It was always a fantastic game. And then we'll get the privilege or the honor to see these guys match up twice a year, according to contracts, 4 times in the next 2 years, although Drew did say that he was leaving to go talk on the television next year. So we'll see if he keeps that. You can only take a man at his word. But I think he matches up very well with Tom Brady. Tom has that's a tough team over there in Tampa Bay. And they got the Saints in the crosshairs, baby. Let me tell you something. They got them in the crosshairs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to sleep at night with the Saints on their brain. You know what I mean? They woke up and they said, man, we tired of the Saints giving it to us. We tired of the Saints messing over us. We're going to go out and bottom out and do everything we can to come at the Saints. And that's when they went after Tom Brady and offered them everything. Tom said, I want to be part GM. You can get it. I want the money. He go the money. I want to be able to make some of the play calls. Here you go. You can have that too. Gave him everything. And now he the man in Tampa Bay down there shooting with Bruce Arians. And we'll see if it's enough. We'll see if it's enough for real, but I think he matches up very well, bro, in that matchup. A lot of people think Tampa's going to handle business with the Saints. We'll see, man. We'll see. Thank you for the question. Your second part says, what do you think when we will sign Clowney? It will happen in the next 10 days. It got to. It got to happen in 10 days. We'll start to see some pickup here, but the Saints is serious about signing. If they're serious about signing Clowney and they don't get Clowney, do they go somewhere else? I mean, it's a lot of questions. My biggest question so much is not about the signing of Clowney. It's like if the Saints are serious about signing Jadevon Clowney, what's wrong with Davenport? They were really on Davenport. Like, hey, Davenport coming back here, dude. We gave him 2 first-round draft picks. We gonna do what we gotta do to make it happen. And then what happens? Bam, beam, boom. You know, we know all of a sudden we interested in Clowney. I mean, this stuff comes with something. You're gonna see it's gonna come out sooner or later. All right, hit the like button, family. Thank you for joining. If you're not a subscriber, join the Great Saint Think Tank. Appreciate you for joining. You want to say something about Jadevon Clowney?
No.
All right, I thought my son wanted to say something about Jadevon Clowney.
I don't know who he is.
Okay, he don't know who Jadevon Clowney is, but he do follow Saints Talk. He'll break it down for you. Let's see. Let's keep it going. Inevitable XT says Marcus Williams better get his act together on those bad angle tackles because a healthy Swearinger will take that job, no doubt about it. And of course, this is his last year. There's a lot of pressure on Marcus Williams. I can't say enough. I got really upset. I thought I was over it until I put the tape back on and watch him drag Kittles down by the face mask. It made me upset again, all over again. I ain't gonna lie to you, I got upset about that. When I watched that, I was like, oh man, look at this dude, man. And that was last year. Like, dude, you're a starting safety in this league. You grabbed that man's face mask for over 10 yards and then you still couldn't bring him down. How you can't take the man down? You got his face mask. I just don't Marcus Williams I don't got a good opinion of Marcus Williams. I'm sorry, man. He has the stats, but he fails you at the crucial moments when you need a safety, and the safety is the last line of defense, family. You can't have a whiffing ass safety like that back there playing like that and you expect things to go down. You just can't have that. Marcus Williams, to me, is an enigma. He gives you the statistics to keep you off of him, but then he'll give you a bonehead play of 2 or 3, and not just the really crystallizing ones like the face mask of Kittles or the just lowering his head and not watching what he hit when he hit a Crawley in the Minnesota Miracle game. He just lowered his head and threw himself at the man. Who taught you to tackle like that? How did you get drafted 2nd overall and you lowering your head and launching yourself into people? That is not how it's supposed to go. And it's more and more of the same for Marcus Williams. So I don't have a very good opinion of Marcus Williams. This is last year and the pressure's on him to show up and show out as well. Just hopefully Malcolm Jenkins is there, because if Malcolm Jenkins feels uncomfortable about playing, then guess what? We're going to see more and more of this type of stuff for Marcus Williams. So I got questions. Malcolm Jenkins is a question. Is he going to play? People say, well, yeah, he played, he signed a contract. He could opt out. He can listen, I don't want to play. I don't think it's safe. He can back out. It's not a foregone conclusion is what I'm saying, family. He can back out. If he don't feel safe, he can say, you know what? I don't want to play. I don't want to endanger myself in the danger, whatever. I don't want, and then what does that leave you? That gives you what? Swearinger back there? And then Marcus Williams? Well, I don't know, man. You tell me. All right, thank you, man. Appreciate the question there, V1 Extinct. Thank you, family. If Netherville says, okay, I got that one. I don't mind having 2. Elsie Head says, I don't mind having 2 BMWs. Why not have both of them and let them rotate? Yeah, that's true. But it's, how bad do the Saints really want this dude? Do they really want him? Like, we got to have him. If that's the case, if they say, listen, give them, if they really want him, the Saints could go ahead and sign him. But of course, the Saints he's going to leverage other offers. He can get $15 million right now. I'm pretty sure Cleveland would give him the $17 million that he needs to be a player. I'm just saying, Cleveland is desperate as well. All right, let's keep it going. Brewman, who that to you, fam? Good to see you there. Inevitable XT says we free up more money to add to that $9 million by releasing Myra Evans, Easton, and Robinson. Right, you're absolutely right. Inevitable expertise and smart as well. We covered that before. We know that eventually we'll see some first starting to fly and stuff start to shake. And when you see Nick Easton get cut, Nick Easton's $5 to $6 million that you can free up by getting rid of him. Mario Edwards Jr. 2.5 to 3. Patrick Robinson is another $2 million right there. So you can free up $9 million, almost $10 million just by releasing those players. And those players are players you can release, and they won't totally impact the depth or the backups of what you're going, because Easton, there are several guys that could do what Easton doing. Cam Tom to me is better than Nick Easton. He's a lot cheaper. You got Omame sitting there, and you got several undrafted guys as well, both from last year and this year competing in the same space. Then, of course, Mario Edwards Jr. is buried on the depth chart. Marcus Hunt comes on. Where does that put Mario Edwards Jr.? Where does that place him? We know Noah Spence is not there, but Anthony Chiquillo is a linebacker who can be a defensive end. So you can see Mario Edwards Jr. is going to have difficulties making his teams barring injury, because he's buried back there, so he could be released. And of course, Patrick Robinson is called your fourth right now, situated as your down back. But we all know Saints had interest in Dre Kirkpatrick. When we get close to that offseason, I'm telling you, the Saints going to bring another veteran defensive back in here. And don't discount Dietrich the young was Nichols. Dietrich Nichols, the young defensive back from the XFL. Let's not discount him, because they're high on Dietrich Nichols, the XFL cornerback they signed. Even though he's 5'11", he's a bit undersized, but he doesn't play like a 5'11" cornerback. He's a bull. He loves to tackle you. He'll go at you. He got that mentality. He got that dog mentality, and they like Dietrich Nichols. So let's not discount him either. Thank you, fam. All right, let's keep it going. Good to see the rest of the members chiming in the building as well. Let's keep it going. Yoram Peter, who that to you? Yoram, good to see you, family. Much love to you. Who that to you? Good to see you in the building as well. DJ, what up, DJ? Good to see you, family. DJ says Pelican post-game report in the next hour. What up, Big Q? What up, family? Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to fire up a Pelican post-game report. Got a lot of stuff going on, fam. A lot of stuff going on. I promise you, we're going to get to it. On Q with Big Q, that's coming out soon. Got 2 new shows we're going to drop in 1 week. The Pelican post-game report, going to have another episode, a long episode breaking down a lot of stuff. And of course, the Tough Tiger Talk for our LSU Nation out there. We got a 2-hour Tough Tiger Talk that we're working on as well, plus several other reports that I'm due to drop this week as well. So we working right here in the PRO Media Network. We working our ass off. Let's keep it going. Who that to the family members chiming in? Derek, good to see your family as well. LSA says, my wife is laughing at you, bro. She a diehard Saints fan. I apologize, bro. I tell you, once I got it, baby. I'm telling you, once I got it, baby. I got it. I'm telling you. Thank you. Byron says Griffin preferred fit of Clowney doesn't sign with the Saints. That's the issue. Do we go after Griffin? I've not heard anything about it, but we'll see how it goes. That's the fun thing, man. Just imagining these scenarios and why they think and trying to figure out the mindset of the coach, because most of the times I hit it. I hit it. I can see the trends, and then I also understand human behavior. Like, we don't just do something for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Even when it's subconscious, it's not something for nothing. Even when you investigate it and uncover it, you understand that even a subconscious motion has a reason to it. Everything has a reason. And that's what I'm saying. Is there something wrong with Davenport where they're seeking to do this? This was a complete change. Just like I'm saying, I know I'm throwing it up, but nobody's talking about the mindset change. All of a sudden, we just won't call it. We just got you putting backups behind them. Now all of a sudden, you want to put a starter on top of them. So I'm like, what happened there? Did you see something that you didn't like? That's why. That's how I think, man. And you're gonna see it's gonna come out. It always does. Thank you for that, Byron. Let's see, Daniel Smith, who that to you? So hope we can get a D-line to get in the quarterback. Hope we can get a D-line to get to the quarterback. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that as well. I agree with you. He says, who that? Same think tank. Same to you, family. Raymond, who that to you, Raymond? He said, Breeze turned them down. Thank you. Okay, thank you for your answer. All right, no problem. V1 extent, appreciate you, fam. Jarvis Collins, who that to you? Jarvis, good to see you in the chat as well. Kevin McKnight says, we need a cornerback. Maybe Talib, veteran, will do. What do you think, Q? Talib is interesting. I don't know. He's good, but what you think about Tremaine Johnson? We mulled that over on Q with Big Q, our Patreon show. We mulled that over. How about Tremaine Johnson? The Saints went after Tremaine Johnson some time ago. They went after a lot of people that they didn't get over the years. I remember when the Saints was trying to trade for Navarro Bowman from the 49ers, and he kiboshed the trade. Well, his career went in the tubes after that. I'm like, why would Navarro Bowman kiboshed the trade? The Saints was wanting the 49ers was going to trade Bowman to the Saints. Y'all remember that? And then ultimately he ended up going to the 49ers, and he kept having reoccurring injuries, and I think he just retired. But the Saints was trying to get DeVar Bowman. But I say that to say it was several other people out there that the Saints tried to pick up on and get that then rebuked the Saints and went away. Remember they was trying to get Jimmy Graham this past. They was thinking about, they offered Jimmy Graham a contract. He buffed them to go to Green Bay. So did the big defensive tackle, that the same dude. He rebuffed them. They both went up there and fell apart. If they had came here, I think they would have had more of a mainstay. But then again, we got our own guys that worked out in the long run. But I'm saying a few of these guys, if you look at them with Jadevon Clowney and the rest of them, we'll see as we keep going here. All right, but nothing wrong with Talib, bro. If we can get him for the right price, I'm not upset about it. I like Tremaine Johnson. I like Mo Claiborne. I like Logan Ryan. I think Logan Ryan would be a special guy to have. Remember, this is the last year of Drew Brees, so Drew says. So if you're gonna get somebody that's gonna help you get to that bowl, man. You know, that's my whole thing. All right, who that to you, Derek? Good to see you, fam. Karen says Marcus Williams need to learn to tackle and stop hitting with his shoulders. That won't bring down the player. Use your hands, use your arms. That's what you got them for. Thank you, Karen. Sound like you a football player too, bro. Sound like you. You sound like me several shows ago when I was telling people, I was like, man, you grab somebody, man. When you tackling a guy like George Kittles, you don't try to grab George around his shoulder pads. You don't tackle a big guy around his shoulders. Are you kidding me? If you got a big guy like that, you grab him around his waist and you ride him down, you lock his legs and drag him down. And of course, that'll slow him down enough until other guys will come and then pile on and group tackle him. But there's ways to tackle big guys. Smaller players do it all the time in the pros. It's called technique. You know, if you're a little guy, you got to know how to tackle. You got to tackle. You're going to be running against the big guys. You got to know how to bring them big guys down. That's the truth. And you're absolutely right, Karen. Thank you for that, brother. Let's see. What you got, son? What you want?
That's ice cream.
Yeah, sure. He wants some ice cream. Sure. Go ahead. Get you some ice cream. 2 scoops, please. My sons wanted to participate in a live stream night. Excuse me, family. You know how you got with kids, man. He tapping me like he wants something. He want to talk or something. He talking about he wants some ice cream. That's fine, man. You can have some ice cream. Go ahead and get you some ice cream. All right, let's keep it going, family. Thank you for that, Karen Jarvis. Who that to you, fam? Good to see you. Inevitable XTC, I hear you, Q. I don't have a good feeling about Marcus, PJ Williams, and I don't care if PJ can play safety. I feel you, Inevitable XTC. He left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, bro, especially last year. And people tired of seeing PJ get burned all the time. You know, it's just amazing, man. Jarvis says he will be a great addition. We don't need him, though. Yeah, he is a luxury item. But even though he's considered a luxury item, I'm telling you, it's something more. I'm telling you, you don't just wake up in the morning and change your mind and say, we got Davenport. They spent 2 first-round draft picks on Davenport. A lot of time in his development. But to take another starter and put it on top of Davenport and push him down to a bench player, which is the third situational pass rusher, that's not something that a black and gold, a great Saint think tank member would overlook so readily. You get what I'm saying? And that's me. I've always looked at the mental, and the mental trends begat the physical trends. The mind is over everything. Mind over everything. You know. So I mean, that's what it comes down to in my book. The mind sets the motion of the body, and everything follows within its course. And that's what I'm saying. What's the perspective? Is Davenport not ready yet? You know. Did they lose a little confidence in him or something? Something going on? The kid's been banged up a lot, so I wouldn't be beside myself to say perhaps there's something inside the building that's happening to put the Saints in the conversation. And another thing to add to it, family, as we move forward is, with that being said, if the thought process that puts the Saints in the conversation for Clowney between the Cowboys and the Saints. Now the Saints know that Clowney knows that they're interested, and he's letting them know that I am interested in you also. Now, with that being said, how motivated will the Saints be in consummating a union between the two? But it's based upon what is wrong with Davenport. Is there a physical ailment? Did they lose a little this in him? You see what I'm saying? I'm asking this because this will spur the motivation of the Saints to then go out and get something done with this player. That's all I'm saying. You're motivated because you recognize that the guy you got there is not better than the guy you're looking at. And I'm saying if the Saints are interested, we all know they are. It's all been out there. We've covered it ad nauseum. If that's indeed the case, I'm telling you, man, it's always more behind the scenes. Who that to you? Troy Johnson. Who that family? Good to see you in the live chat. Phoebe, what up? Phoebe says Patrick Mahomes just broke the bank. I know, 10 years, man. 10-year contract. Who that think that kid is? Alex Rodriguez? Man, wow. Just Leo 12 says inevitable. You're right. PJ Williams goes great for tackle, but he cannot cover even with a blank. Let's see. Thank you for that. That was pretty funny. Jay Huntsberry, what up, Jay? How you doing, brother? He said, I have concerns about Malcolm Jenkins. Love him, but give him up. He says, but giving up a young player for a veteran is exactly what we did to lose him in the first place. Remember how that worked out. That's true. But this Malcolm Jenkins, I'm not afraid of Malcolm Jenkins' play. The issue I might have with Malcolm Jenkins, and y'all let me know about this. Y'all let me know if you feel the way I feel about the situation, family. The issue with Malcolm Jenkins is not his health, but his mouth. His mouth. He can't keep his damn mouth shut. And I know Crass, my boy Crass, say he's over the player's safety. He got to talk when it's time to talk or whatnot. But it just seemed like to me, and I ain't batting down all of the social stuff, that's fine. But when you're a member of the team, you can't be saying stuff that'll cause division and fraction of the team. And then also when you're a property of the team, because you're under contract to the team, you can't then say something that is in conflict of what the team believes, or they'll pull down punishment upon you. Trust and believe. As a player, you just a high paid employee. That's the reality. That's life. If you want your own stuff, go out and start your own league so you can be the man. But as a high-paid employee, you have to stick to the rules and regulation that was defined in the agreement that you signed before they gave you the money. You think I'm just going to give you this and say, well, listen, we're going to negotiate after the fact? No, all that's written into the paperwork, into the black and white in the contract. And he has to provide. So that's what I'm saying about Jenkins, is that will he become a distraction in that way? You know, and then the second part of it is, does he really believe what he's saying about not playing, that he doesn't feel safe? If that's the case, he can back out and then say, well, we're not going to hold you to it. The Saints can say, well, just give us our money back. That's problematic for us. What do you think about that? Just throwing it out, man. It's a few things to think about. I'm telling you, they're not reporting about it, but I'm telling you, them people, it's like they all think about the same thing. And I'm like, how you thinking of the same? Well, we're gonna think about red and blue and red, and then we're gonna take the red and then mix it with the blue, and then take the blue and mix it with the red. Then we're gonna put the little red here and then some blue right here, and then the blue and the red. They can't think of no other colors to use to paint the picture. You keep using red and blue. There's other colors of the spectrum that we can use to paint that picture, but it's almost like the cookie cutter. But if you're a person that's you're a critical driven person, you can then find the deeper questions underneath the epidermis or whatever you're dealing with. So that's what I'm saying, man. It's something that's driving all of this. And the Saints, in my opinion, are they losing confidence in Davenport, or is he hurt some manner that they're not reporting on right now? Because if you're looking at paying another man that much money and you considering him, because if the Saints wasn't considered, like, man, we're not going to pay you that. We're going to back up out of that. No, they're going to pay him that if they want him. Just telling you. And even if they got to add it in 3 years or several years of a deal to eat it up into the future, the Saints will do that. I'm just saying how motivated are on whatever spurred them to go look at him in the first place, whether it's health or whatever things. I'm gonna keep looking at it. All right, let's keep it. Neville, who that to you? Neville, good to see you, fam. Jarvis says LSU going back. I love that. I'm an LSU man through and through. You know I am, fam. Jay Huntsberry says, do you know what player has the exact frame as Clowney and is half a step slower? We got the same frame as Clowney, but a half a step slower. He has the same. What player has the same frame as Clowney, but a step slower? Same frame as Clowney. On the Saints team? You speaking on the Saints team or just any players, period? Because the only, if we think into the Saints team, the only player that could mimic or perhaps look similar to him, what is Clowney? 6'4", 6'5"? Is he, 6'4", or something like that? I wouldn't even say Granderson is that kind of dude. I don't know. You got me on that one, bro. That requires thought. I have to sit down and think about that one and stroke my beard a million times to try to figure that one out. All right, let's keep it going. Inevitable says, even if we miss out on Griffin or Clowney, we could still try for Marcus Golden, do that 10 sacks. I know. I've been pushing Golden, bro. I've been pushing him. Daniel says, thanks, Big Q, for keeping us informed about the black and gold, our New Orleans Saints. We the best. Thank you, fam. You welcome, Daniel. Thank you for joining us here, my friend. Jess Leo 12 says, Davenport is too injury prone. He need better strength coach or something is why everybody, he says, or something is why everyone want rotation. Kevin says, Johnson said he didn't want to play for the Saints. Okay, Johnson said that. All right. Mark Dykes, who that Mark? Good to see you, fam. He says Golden would be a good settle. Yeah, he wouldn't want as much. And then, like I said, I just want somebody, a compliment player, to kind of, so you can ease Davenport into it. You don't want to put it. This man was injured twice, several times over the last couple of years. I don't want to force him into there, and then he gets hurt again. You see what I'm saying? And then what does that do to a young player's psyche like that? You know, I wanted to be able to ease him into the rotation. In order to do that, you need somebody competent. And I don't have any. I'm sorry. I don't have any confidence in Trey Hendrickson. I'm sorry. Trey Hendrickson is more fragile than Davenport, in my opinion. How could that be when you play less snaps? You're a backup defensive end. So I'm like, I don't really have confidence in Trey Hendrickson, man. Trey Hendrickson has come in here and he's let me down just like Patrick Williams did, PJ Williams did. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like that's why I'm pushing for the Saints to add these extra guys. Plus, it's Drew's last year. You can't let that happen. If it's Drew last year, you got to fortify the team, man. And I know what people saying, Q, we were high. We were, you know, top 10 in sacks and pressures of quarterbacks last year. I get you on that. And that's fine, and I'm proud of that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to always, if we number one, and let's say we was number one in sacks and pressures last year, right? I'll be telling them, listen, we need more. We need more to keep it going. That's my mentality, is to keep the press on and keep going. And that's why I'm pushing this narrative about get somebody else outside of Davenport. Because if Davenport would have stayed healthy last year, could you imagine what Cam could have did? Because there was no push from that other side when he went down. And that's why I was like, if you can see the explosion of the Saints the interior offensive line in the playoff game against Minnesota. I'm speaking of how coaches think and administrators look. Let's just say the vision of Coach Payton. He could see that in the playoff game, but not see that his defensive line needs help. How could you see your interior offensive line imploded against the Minnesota Vikings last year, then change and draft the center and move your center to a guard or whatever, do all that stuff, but not see the pressure aspect of it? Maybe he did. It took him a long time, but maybe he did. So, I mean, we'll see. All right, Troy says, Jerome, who that T says 2 scoops. That's no. You should see the scoops that they get, bro. I come in there, half the bucket gone. I said, man, hold on. I like Blue Bell. Man. I like Blue Bell. 2 scoops, man. You talking about they get a coffee cup. I'm like, where y'all get that from? I ain't gonna front, they get that from me. I guess the reason why they call me Big Q. You know what I'm saying? Troy Johnson, Big Q, we talked about this before. Sounds like a lot of people are seeing what I've been saying for a while. Marcus Trash Williams got to go, and his brother PJ. The Williams boys are out of control. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you, family. Much love to you. Phobe says, we know Chauncey Gardner Johnson going to be in the slots. I think they're going to put Dietrich Nichols in the nickel. All right, will be interesting to see nickels in the nickel. I like that. Jeslo 12 says Troy Johnson, LOL, his big brother too. Yep. Mark Dyke, pay attention. Who that to you, fam? Pay attention. 26. Mark Dyke says Jimmy G, only good years in NFL were in New Orleans. Shedrick, who that to you, Shedrick? And Elder Black T says Chauncey Gardner-Johnson going to be the captain of this team real soon. That kid is the total package. He's fantastic, man. You can see football players. He was a rookie, and you could see that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, when he played on the field as a rookie, when he got out there, he looked like he belonged. He was comfortable. He wasn't stiff and scared and timid like Traquan Smith was. He was ready for the action. He was made for the moment. And then when the lights turned off, he said, yes, this is where I wanted to be. And he did not shy away from it. He embraced it. You know, and that's something that when most people, the great ones, do when they get in the spotlight, because you can sit there all you want, but when the spotlight on and the people looking at you, you're gonna freeze up and be timid, or you're gonna perform. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a performer. Thank you for that. All right, James Combs, who that? He says, sounds like the Saints and Clowney writing each other love letters. I like you, you like me. Don't make me sing, cuz I was singing on the last show. And Elder with expertise said Jenkins just likes to hear himself talk. Mark says Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will be one of the Saints' best players this year. And Elder says Jenkins just likes to hear himself. Okay, I just read that. Revolt says Jenkins going to be a on the field. Thank you for that. Just Leo 12 says Saints still need help in the secondary if the Rabbit gets hurt, or Lattimore, Dre Kilpatrick, or Tremaine Johnson rebuild from a horrible season with Jets at low price. Thank you. That's interesting because, like I said, somebody mentioned Tremaine Johnson. That drew it on my mind because I was thinking about Kilpatrick. But if you look at the free agents that are available cornerback wise, man, it is a deep group. This late in the free agency period, the top of it's Logan Ryan. But if you go 4 or 5 levels down, you got guys like Kilpatrick and Tremaine Johnson that's there. There's talent there, and you can get them at a rate, at a good rate, depending on who wants to play. Because truth be told, family, I'm gonna say this, and I know most people ain't talking about this right now because it's not happening. The NFL has not brought this to light yet. They're rolling out slowly, but as the season ratchets up toward July the 28th, you'll start seeing more literature, more information, more articles being released periodically from the NFL's league office about what are the procedures. Now, we covered it on the last show. We read some of the testing procedures of what have happened. Like, some of these players want to bring some of their family members in, and they're going to ask some of these their family members to be tested as well. But the thing is also is, what if some players what if the NFL has like the NBA has, which is an opt-out option where they're not penalized? Let's say that, when it comes and be like, okay, do you feel comfortable with playing? No, I don't. Well, they're not going to force you to play if you don't feel comfortable. In my opinion, they're going to adopt something similar to the NBA, where you'll be given the option to decide on whether or not you want to compete for the year or not. What if we have some players who opt out not to? Then you'll see guys off the free agent wire who wants to compete, guys like Tremaine Johnson, Dre Kilpatrick, and others who would then fill the void for those who won't play. You see what I'm saying? So they can very well be a pickup. It will definitely be a pickup at free agency, because you're going to see some players that's going to opt out and not want to play. This has not yet happened, but I'm saying, looking at it with some forethought, you're looking at what the NBA is doing. You're going to see in the NFL, it's mimicking a lot of what the NBA is doing, not bubbleizing teams to a centralized location, but being that they're moving around, they'll be pretty stringent on testing procedures and whatnot. But my thing is, they won't force you to play. If you don't want to play because you feel unsafe, then you would let them know, and of course you will be stepped out. Then the Saints would then fill the void with somebody who does. I'm just saying, get ready for it, and that could be something that can impact the Saints roster. Matter of fact, it will. Remember, like I just said, Malcolm Jenkins was the one that brought that to light, talking about that football is non-essential. That's so much big. I'm gonna go to this last time and leave it alone, because every time I think about it, I come up with a different angle to approach it. For instance, you have Jenkins came out and said this on CNN, which is a very big news network that covers to millions of people. Jenkins brought that out and said that to many different people. And the mere fact that he said that, and said that football is a non-essential business, even though that's how he became rich. He's a football player. He's a football player. So you got a football player talking against his own way of getting paid. So obviously, to me, he must feel strongly about it to put that out there, because he didn't say nothing to the Great Saint Think Tank. He didn't put nothing out there. He went on there and said that to them. into the world. So I'm saying to myself, it's a point of concern to store away in the great Saint Think Tank brain, our collective brain. You have a very successful player who has a pretty damn good contract and have had several good contracts who became extravagantly wealthy off of playing football, speaking against his craft, that how he enriched himself. You get me? So it's just food for thought. All right, Professor PT 504, who that to your family, says Davenport. Gerald Holmes, what up, Gerald? He says, Peyton, the best ability is availability. That's true, fam. That's true. PJ has never played well, says Mark. Jammin, who that to you, says, do you think Breeze and Sanders will have a good relationship? I think so. Drew Brees is cool. He's a cool dude, man. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of but a lot of people say, how would the young folks say it? You know what I say? We interpret that in the young folk generation. How would they say that? How would they just say that? Well, he's, he A1, he 100. My dog Throat Cutter would say he up there. You know what I'm saying? You're 100%. He 1,000. And Drew Brees is a cool dude, man. Everybody like Drew. Chances, if the majority of people meet Drew, they would like Drew because Drew's personable. He's humble. He's a guy you could just look at his action and understand. Now, he got his bad stuff going on. I mean, everybody do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got, their own little ways and stuff like that. But his public appearance, I don't know about his personal life, but from his public perspective and his relationship with the guys that he played with over his 20-something year NFL career and his college career, the coaches, they all uniformly and consistently say about Drew Brees the same things. And that's how you know what he is. You're going to have thousands of people lying for your ass and you ain't paying them nothing. It's obviously the truth about what kind of dude he is. And Drew Brees, to me, is a cool dude. I expect him to get along really well with Emmanuel Sanders. The fact that Emmanuel Sanders is so much what Teddy Ginn Jr. is not. The fact that he runs excellent routes. The fact that he can see when his quarterback's in trouble and actually come back and help him. He watched the film on Emmanuel Sanders, incredibly productive, does everything very well. That's why he keeps getting these big paydays. Despite the injuries, could you imagine what Emmanuel Sanders statistically could have been if he didn't have all those nagging injuries? Last year, like I said, he had 65 catches between two teams. We had Ted Ginn Jr. all of last year, who had 30 catches for one team. Now, of course, I got to preference that by saying that Drew is not the best of deep ball throws as well, and Drew was underthrowing them at times and all this kind of stuff, and that's true. But and I know that if you got a quarterback that can't throw the deep ball, why you running that fast? Sooner or later you're going to have to adjust to his style of play. Drew ain't going to lead you like he used to do. You're going to have to kind of adjust with him so y'all can have a better synergy. See what I'm saying? You just can't run out there and expect him. You're going to have to adjust for what he's doing is what I'm saying. But anyway, Emmanuel Sanders is that type of dude. I think he can be able to work. He will work with Drew Brees. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been in multiple Super Bowls. He's a 33-year veteran. He's been all over. He's played in different systems. He will not only work well with Drew Brees, but he will work really well with Mike Thomas. We thinking Mike Thomas is doing all of this, and Mike's never had a big brother wide receiver, so to speak, to teach him the game. Mike's learned from Drew Brees' work ethic and went to school, but imagine what he could learn from Emmanuel Sanders, who's been around the block a few times. You get with me? So I'm saying it's a plus and bonus all over the Saints offense as far as them go. But yes, I definitely expect Drew Brees and Emmanuel Sanders to have a great relationship on the field and off the field in New Orleans. Thank you, Jammin. Aaron Henry, who that team? Aaron, he said, "What up, Q?" Ain't been, you've been gone for a while. Aaron, man, what's up, baby? He says, ain't been in a while. I believe if they bring Clowney in, it would be good competition for Davenport. Keep him in his toes. Keep him on his toes. I got you. Rotating snaps with the two to preserve them from injury. I love the idea. I think it's splendid. But you might, if you get Clowney, why not get Griffin or somebody cheaper to rotate snaps with? But I guess if the Saints really want somebody, and this is Drew Brees' last year, why not go and get him? It's different frames of looking at this. Inevitable says, why y'all rather would we re-up with Jameis if Brees retires or try to sign Aaron Rodgers? Well, That's an interesting question, and depends on where you're coming from. I'm of the mind. Let's walk through this this virtual world, or this non-realistic world. Well, in some alternate reality, we've seen sci-fi movies before, and we've seen it in alternate realities or alternate universes. You might be not so rich here, but you filthy rich there. You get what I'm saying? They believe that, and I've heard this before, that they believe that in alternate realities, there's an opposite version of yourself in another reality. You get me? Let's say in another reality, Drew Brees retires. Who would take his job in this reality? My opinion is it would have been Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady would have took the Saints job. I'm gonna keep it real with you. He said as much. He said that the Saints was somebody he was really looking at. That's why he kind of took a while to see what was going to happen with the Drew Brees situation. But when Drew ultimately decided to sign back, he went to Tampa Bay. But he was saying in various reports that New Orleans was a serious destination. And I really do think that had Drew retired, Tom Brady would have been your quarterback. Could you imagine that? So in some alternate reality somewhere, Tom Brady's the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Isn't that amazing? But that's just food for thought. Thank you for that, Aaron. But about the Davenport question, Inevitable, thank you for that question about them. But Aaron Rodgers is going to be a free agent next year. We'll see. You know, a lot of people, if Drew goes, you think that the top quarterbacks, and I've listed them before, whether they're Aaron Rodgers or Phillip Rivers or any of these men, they're going to want to play for a perennial team. And the Saints have Mike Thomas, Elvin Kamara. They won't have Jared Cook, but they'll have Aaron Troutman there. Josh Hill will still be there. And they'll have the ability to address the position via the draft or free agency. They'll bring in players that'll play. They'll do these things. That's what the Saints do. They'll be able to do this. So the issue will come down to whether or not the team could be able to, keep this going. And do you believe that the Saints will be able to keep this going? Most certainly, I do think they're going. So if I'm Aaron Rodgers or any of these quarterbacks, and I want to win Super Bowls, then I have to look at the Saints saying, they got all that, and that dude walked away from that. Of course I'm looking at them. I would have to say that the Saints is a prime destination for any quarterback, especially a guy like Aaron Rodgers who looking at winning Super Bowls. A guy like that is definitely going to have the Saints on their roster. We are must-see TV, and a lot of people are going to want to be the quarterback in this team. Jameis Winston took a $1.1 million deal from New Orleans. He could have got double that much somewhere else, but he took that deal because he knows that if Drew leaves, that he's put himself in prime position to compete for the starting quarterback opposite of Taysom Hill next year. The truth of the matter, he has all the experience, can make all the throws. His thing is between the ears. He has to be able to get that together. What if he does get that together here in New Orleans? Then what? You know, it's a lot of factors. It's too far out to think, but it's to think about. But it is fun to kind of imagine. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Inevitable Expertise. Logan Lyon says Malcolm Jenkins makes great points, but he's really hypocritical. Sanders is going to go off this year. Sanders ain't have a great QB in a while. Thank you, Logan. I love both those points, Logan. Who that to you? Thank you for that. And just to address your Malcolm Jenkins point, Logan, is the fact that you're right. He is hypocritical. Remember what Eric Reed said about him when he called him a sellout, and what happened with Kaepernick. He went behind. Yeah, I've said that you got to keep an eye on Malcolm Jenkins. Now we talking about football. We know he can play, but all that other stuff, you got to keep an eye on Malcolm Jenkins. I've said that many times on this show. I know what kind of dude Malcolm Jenkins is. That's why I said you got to keep an eye on him. You got to keep an eye on him. You know, you got that friend around. You got a friend, and then when you come around, you bring his children. Got certain children you got to keep an eye on. I got to keep an eye. I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? I was just messing around. James says, who was our best second receiver ever? Who was our best second receiver ever? That's the Saints' second best receiver. Top receiver is Marcus Colston. Second best wide receiver is Joe Horn. That's easy. Joe Horn, followed by Eric Martin. So yeah, that's Marcus Colston, that's Joe Horn, and that's then Eric Martin is the third on the Saints receiving list. Now, if you're talking about stats, I just named them in the stats. If you're talking about something else, I don't know. But if it's statistical, you're talking about, James, I would say second best receiver ever was Joe Hollywood Horn. Now, of course, the big man, Willie Roaf, might disagree with me, but I ain't quite mad at Joe like Willie is. But that'll be my order. I say that my answer to that question, James, is the second best receiver ever is Joe Horn. Daryl Hatcher, who that to you, Daryl? Superstar Louisiana boy, who that to your family? Good to see you in the chat as well. Inevitable XT said, I think the addition of Sanders is going to open it up for Deontay. Hopefully Breeze can reach him. Yeah, me too. I remember reading and seeing reports. In some reports, this was in the years past, that Drew has been having issues like, with his arm. He hurt that shoulder some time ago, but to gain strength in that, he had exercises he would do in the off season to strengthen his shoulder and his throwing arm. He does that every year. So some people saying, well, Drew, his arm is decreasing. That's true. He doesn't throw as far as he used to throw, but he still works on exercising his arm so it can be strong, so he can at least throw a deep ball, take 2 or 3 shots down the field. You see what I'm saying? They don't just go into it. I remember seeing him do that, working. That's something that he do all off season, is he works on his throwing arm to keep that arm strong. So, he'll surprise you every now and again. Like, damn, you see that ball Drew threw? He'll throw a dart or two every now and again. That's because, that's what I'm saying. He works on that shoulder. I remember when he came back after that Arizona game. And man, he threw a dart so foul. Like, man, look at that ball that Drew threw that ball that hard, that boy. But that's how it is. That's what they do. They work on it. Braden Long, who that to you, Braden? Good to see you in the chat, family. Much love to you. Jeslo 12 says Taysom Hill should play safety as well. Why not, right? Jay Huntsberry says Tom waited for Breeze to sign before going to Tampa Bay. I know he was waiting. He was waiting to see what Drew Brees was going to do. He said that in several articles. He kind of let it be known. He was like, yeah, the Saints was serious thought in my mind. He was going to go to New Orleans. In some alternate reality, we got Tom Brady as our quarterback. I'm just letting y'all know that. To my sci-fi people out there. All right. Phoebe says, Tom, okay, I got you. Mark Dice said the survival rate for C-19 is 96.5, about 2 weeks. Yeah, but it's a world's of stir though, huh? All this stuff, but you act like they don't got nothing to stop it. I got you 99.6. You can't get no higher than that. Only way you can get higher than that, maybe a few percentage points, like the aerosol cans, like the Lysol cans, that kills 99% of the germs. They can't say 100%. That's legally, so they say 99%. Jay Huntsberry says, Phoebe, that Tom Brady said that out of his mouth. Joe Huntsberry says, Joe Horn, I agree with you, Joe. James says, no, they were first receivers. Quinn, he said, okay, so you didn't say that. You ain't say that, Sway. You didn't say that. You said, the way you said your question was, who was the second? Let me read it back to you. He says, who was our best second receiver? Okay, I got you. He said, that was on me. I misunderstood your question. I went at it like so many others did. He said, no, they were first. That's right. Joe was a number one. Colston was considered a number one, as Devery Henderson with his second. And Mike Thomas is number one, stuff like that. I get you. I don't know who you number two would be. The number two guy would be, who would be your best second wide receiver? See, it's always somebody throw a monkey wrench in your thinking. And then you start hearing stuff rattling and falling over. That's me thinking. Let's see, man. I don't know here. Let me see. Okay, Colston, Horn, and Eric Martin were all considered first options. Oh man, I'm not gonna look up the stats. I'm gonna try to pull it off mine. But the best second Saints wide receiver. I'm gonna throw 3 of them up there, and y'all tell me whether or not y'all agree with me. I'm trying to answer Swade's question, but I have to put Lance Moore up there. Much love to Lance Moore. He follows the show. I gotta throw Lance up there. Devery Henderson. I got to throw Devery Henderson up there. I'm not going to put Robert Meacham up there. I know people thinking Robert. I'm not going to put Meacham up there. But I hear you with the Quinn Early. I like that Quinn Early comment. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do, family. I'm going to say Lance Moore or Devery Henderson. That's my call. And Swade, you just answer the question. I don't know what you're thinking. All right, Neville says Quinn Early was nice too. Byron says how many favorite second? He says how Horn my favorite second best? How's Horn my favorite second best player wide receiver? Okay, Rush Hour. Who that to you, Rush Hour? Jess Leo says 12. Jess Leo 12 says, with college being sharp because of Caro, how to pick in a draft to know what is the best team? How to pick in a draft to know what's the best team? We might have an issue with that because you could forego a college football season. That could be very real because college is different than the pros. The pros could be able to do a lot of different things. That college is different. So you might see an actual suspension of the college season. Notice you hear a lot of stuff going on from the pros are getting it together. They got the money and the resources. Not saying the colleges don't. It's different because they act as a league. The colleges got all these teams. It's 10 times the size of these pro leagues, and you got all these teams traveling and people. And you got way more people than the pro teams would carry. And I mean, you see what I'm saying? So if anything, the C-19 will have a serious impact on college sports. That's what I'm thinking. We might not get a college season. I'd be surprised, radically surprised if we get a college season. I'm not anticipating a college season. I'm going to tell you that. It's just simply because of the stuff that I've been reading about the colleges. Not saying they're still gearing up, getting ready, but I'm saying if anything could stop it cold, the C-19 could stop cold, it's college athletics, college sports. I hope not, man. I hope not. I hope people realize and take whatever Mark was talking about that get rid of it 99.9% of the time. All right. Thank you for that, fam. Thank you for that, Aaron. Ricky Jones. What up, Ricky? Who that to that driver? Jason King, Jimmy Graham is the second best. Okay, second best receiver. Graham would be listed as a tight end, correct? Even though he wanted to get paid as a wide receiver, I don't know. James says Colston, Martin, and Horn were number one receivers. Who our best number one receiver ever? I just told you, Colston the best number one receiver. You ain't give the answer to the number two. Swade, who's the number two? Let's see. Aaron says Cam start, Winston backup. Okay. Wes Chandler says Mark. That's a good call. John Thompson, who that says, was Quinn Early a good second receiver? Quinn Early was actually a pretty good receiver for the Saints, believe it or not. Jay Huntsberg says Devery Henderson. I got to agree. Is between Henderson and Lance Moore, in my opinion. Even though you could consider Lance Moore more of a third wide receiver because he worked in the slot. It was early on that he did play some of the number two wide receiver role too. You know, he did. Then he got injured. He lost a little bit of his speed and dropped down. So in the capacity of saying number two for the large duration of their season, I mean, I have to say Devery Henderson out of LSU. Is that what you pushing me to say, Swade? Is Devery Henderson the man? Let's see. James says Quinn Early was good. Roderick Williams, who that to you? Roderick, he says Devery Henderson. I agree. It got to be either Henderson, because if you rationalize it, Henderson played the bulk of his time as a number two opposite of Colston. And Lance Moore played a lot in the slot. He was known as the Saint. He's the Saints' best slot receiver ever, in my opinion, is Lance Moore. So if that's the case, then you can't adequately place him at a number two. So by rationalizing it that way, I would then say Devery Henderson is my call. So Swade, anytime you want to put the answer in the chat, fam, this dude said Lonzel Hill. This dude said Lonzel Hill. Do you all believe that? Do you believe what this man just said out of his mouth? Lance Moore, that's what 985 says. John knows who that. He says Brett Perriman. Wow. Man, yeah, Brett Perriman was a cold receiver. Troy Johnson, I knew what he meant, but Mike Thomas was the second best wide receiver because Cooks was number one. Thank you. Yeah, how about that, right? Throw that at his ass. What'd you think about that, Swade? Big Dog Joe Bear says Lance Moore. Who that to you, Big Dog? I see you, fam. Jay Huntsberry said the kid in Baltimore, Lance Moore. Roderick Williams says Devery. James says Lonzel Hill. Bro, how did you pull Lonzel Hill out of there? How is Lonzel Hill the second best wide receiver? Statistically, he don't have more receptions than Devery Henderson, does he? Come on, Swade. Lonzel Hill, bro. Roderick Williams says Super Bowl. Louis Lombard. What up, Louis? Lance Moore caught the ball a lot. Big Dog says Mike Thomas was a number 2 when Cooks was there. See, the family putting it together. That throw your question out the door right there, Sway. Another XT says, remember Breeze threw a pick against the Redskins and Meacham came and stripped the. I remember that. That was one of my favorite plays. He went through it, that Meacham ran him down, pulled it out of his hands, and then ran back the opposite way. I love that. That was a really good move there. One of my favorite Saints moments. Jason King says Willie Jackson won us our first playoff game, so he's my choice. Thank you, Jason. That was a good call too. Ken Rosser says I remember Meacham strip. Sean D, who that Sean? Jay Huntsberry says we've had Cooks as well. Sway said I remember that. He says, oh, Cooks, yeah, see, that throw your question out trying to stump the great Saint Think Tank, baby. You can't stump the great Saint Think Tank, baby. They too smart for that, baby. Mark says the Saints were down by 17 and 4 minutes to go, but we won. Baby Goat, who that to you, Baby Goat? He said Marcus Colston, then Mike Thomas. Thank you. Jason King says Brandon Cooks. Aaron says, bruh, you didn't read the full comment. Rush Hour says Henderson. Byron says Devery Henderson, the best number 2. Smokeless YT, what up, Smokeless? Good to see you, fam. Says who that Q? Got one more question. Who is a player who could compare to Josh Hill? I got Tyler Eifert. Who's a player that can compare to Josh Hill? Tyler Eifert's not a bad call. You know who I could throw just off my brain? Cameron Brate. You remember Cameron Brate? Smokeless. Cameron Brate, the tight end from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who the Saints had on the practice squad. Then Tampa pulled him off the practice squad and brought him there. He was balling for him. Cameron Brate is a guy that I like too. Puts me in the mind of Josh Hill. A little bit more gifted, all around guy, but more productive. Catches the ball at a higher rate, but he puts me in the mind of Josh Hill. I gotta say, Cameron Brate from Tampa Bay. Thank you for that question, bro. Mark says after this year is going to be Sanders. Baby Go says Brandon Cooks is not better than Mike Thomas. DJ says what about Big Willie Snead? There you go. That's another one. DJ throwing the curveball in there. Jay said I hope so. Jay says Dante Stallworth. No, bro, cut that out. Didn't Stallworth ran over somebody and he got his life? Remember that? He ran over that man and I ain't gonna bring it up. I remember all that stuff, man. Mark said Cooks is just a 9 route runner. Houndsberry says I like Stallworth. Yep. Mike Dice is back from the 80s. Wes Chandler. Yeah. See, you bringing the great Saint Think Tank brains out on this one, fam. And so the answer was Lonzel Hill. Sway, for real? Is that your final answer? Answer that. Is Lonzel Hill your final answer? Michael Haynes, former, he didn't do too good down here. Mr. Boombastic, my fantasy football team is Ertz win effort. Okay, it's Ertz then Eifert. Okay, I got you, fam. Inevitable says one of the worst plays was when we pulled all of them laterals to score and pay. I remember that game is where Sway can attest to this, bro. One of our friends, Sway, knows the man, and he told us this story a long time ago. We ain't gonna put his name out there, but his father passed away after that play. He had a heart attack after that play. He said one of the worst plays is when he pulled off the lateral to score Jerome Payton against the Jaguars. Then John Carney missed the point after. We did all that, the laterals to get down there, score the touchdown. And John Carney, who's in the Saints Hall of Fame, comes out there and misses a chip shot field goal to lose the game. Man passed away, had a heart attack. Seriously. He said the answer is Devery Henderson. Okay, all right. Aaron Henry says Roy Williams. Tragic 504 says Colston was not number 2 when Horn was when Horn was 1. Okay, Smokeless says yeah, Cameron Brate is a perfect comparison. Thanks, Q. Who that to you, my brother? Who that to you? But yeah, family, we're gonna get to the point, family. I just want, this is an hour and 30 Monday. It's a Monday show. Feel like it's a Wednesday show, huh? This is Monday coming at you. Just wanted to talk to y'all, man, and kind of spread. This was on my mind, the Jadevon Clowney news stuff, and I just wanted to go over it with the family members about the rationale of why the Saints are seriously consider paying $15 to $17 million. That's his sticking point. And of course, I just wanted to pick your brains and put this on the great Saint Think Tank. It was on my brain instead of waiting until Wednesday to cover it. I just dropped a surprise live stream on you, like I'm known to do, but just to let the family members know. Jess Leo says, what would you say best picks for Saints next year, since the C-19 making it difficult to pick next year for players haven't played and haven't been able to go 2 seasons ago scouting? Some players might be out of shape. That's true. It's going to be different if that happens. But it's a whole nother thing. You have all those players. They're going to have a certain amount of people that'll be eligible for the NFL draft, and they'll come into fold, and we'll see what's going on. But a lot of the production to be based on, they'll run a series of scouting combines. You'll have a series of scouting combines. You might not have just the customary one that they do, and then you might have several different ones that showcase players, and it depends on whether or not, if you can come in contact. A lot of them is right now shooting down the contact and all this kind of stuff right now. So a lot of factors at play. But I could see, using my imagination, I could see several combines happening, not just inspired by the NFL, but it could be something that colleges can get involved with, or private businesses could sponsor them. And then there'll be something at a certain stadium where you have it there for a day. And then this part of the country, in the southeastern portion of the country, they'll have a scouting combine. In the northwestern portion, northeast, central, whatever, they have multiple scouting combines, and that's how the scouts would then do it if their season wasn't played. And then you would gauge the fitness of these players as well. But it would speak to, how would the universities do, because the economics, the athletes and the athletics is a major funding factor for some of these universities. They put a lot of money into these big, massive football stadiums that are actually bigger than some of the pro stadiums. The Tiger Stadium sits 100,000 plus people in that joker. That's a pretty big stadium. And then they were talking about building up because it's a bowl, and they built up around the bowl. Then I think it's the west end zone. The west end zone is still a bowl, but they're thinking about building that up a couple of levels as well. That'll push it well over that. So, I mean, it's depending on, man, what it is. That's a great question. It's just so many factors involved, man, how it will look, because very well, it could be something that destroy this crap. Come in and just knock it out of here. It'd be like, it'd be gone, it'd be done. But then again, perhaps using our imagination, what if it's several different things that we don't know? We thinking this one thing might be several, we don't know right now, fam. But thanks for the question. We'll see. But my comment is, might be several different combines, all put together. John Knowles says, I won the game, we would have made, he says, had we won the game, we would have made the playoffs and had a wild card that year. It was sad that year, really terrible. Braden says, do you think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will become a starting safety in the future? Good question. He could possibly be a starting safety. It depends on what the Saints looking like. But that's the great thing about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, that he could play the cornerback or safety for you, or wherever you need him to play on the field. So it's possible. I see I would really want to see his value at the slot position. But let's say Marcus Williams leaves or what have you. If something happens to Marcus Williams, I put it to you like this: any of those guys, one of the safety players, then is Swearinger put next to Malcolm Jenkins, or is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson moved back there? I would say the Saints will move Chauncey Gardner. If injury occurred, then you would see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson cycle with the injured safety as opposed to a guy underneath him. Now you can see Swearinger moving in, to play for, let's say, if Jenkins went down to something like that or what have you. But I can see the Saints loving the versatility of a guy like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to get back there, because he was picked up as a safety, and they would just merely know that he was on the depth chart, buried underneath people, and they wanted to find a way to get this kid on the field. So it's a possibility that he can become a safety, although he's playing in the slot like a nickel. He has a lot of applications. That's positionless football, as I like to coin it. And I think that's the great thing about having a guy as uniquely gifted as Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So thanks for that question, John, Braden, thank you. John says, Carey missed extra point. Baby Goat says, seem like all the Saints players go to the Eagles or Ravens. Big Dog says, gotta be Devery. What's up, Tyra? Who that to you, baby? Good to see you in the chat. Much love to you. Let's see. So he said he slept on Terrence Copper. I remember that dude. All right, Tyra says, are we having a season? It appears so. We are definitely marching toward a season, Tyra. We most certainly, baby, gonna have one. The NFL is slowly releasing its medicals. We covered that on the last show, on the Saturday Saints Talk show. We covered it at the top. Kevin, what up, Kevin? My dog, a GM Kev in the building, man. Get a round of applause for GM Kev, man. GM Kev is in the building, man. How about that? GM Kev has made his debut into the chat. Good to see you, GM Kev in the building. Been a while, fam. Good to see you, man. Much love to you. All right, man. That's good, man. Got the GM Kev now. But yeah, family, that's the thing that as a person that we talk about when we talk about the safety aspect of it. But if you notice, it's a lot, it's much more to it. This is not the forum to breach it, to talk about it. But it comes down to that thing. Yeah, appreciate it, Kevin. I don't know what happened with Kev. Kev joined us. GM Kev back in the building. All right, man. But yeah, that's a part of it. I think we'll have a season. The NFL will march toward it. They've already saying they're going to test players and people around players, so they're going to be real stringent about the testing. And of course, if somebody's found to have it, they'll isolate and test just like they did with the Pelicans. And what you see with the Pelicans, NBA basketball, similar to the testing, is the same type of stuff that will happen in the NFL. But of course, it won't be like, because they'll be isolated to a single city. These guys are going to travel from here to there. They might not fly in the commercial planes. It might be private planes that they fly in from wherever they need to go. You see what I'm saying? Of course, there'll be issuing of masks, and people will be tested on the regular. So that's just about all you can do. You know what I'm saying? Is that what they're saying? Is what the officials are saying in terms of wearing masks and keeping your distance and sanitizing yourself. That's pretty much all you can do. And then, when the time comes, it'll be your decision on whether or not you take the V or, or herbalize or whatever you're going to do, whatever. Or take the HCG stuff or whatever it is. HCQ, I think it's called. But it's all based upon you. You're in control of your body, and you decide what goes in it. It's your decision. It's so totally your decision. All right, so yeah, that's a part of it. But no doubt about it, I think we'll have a season. We'll definitely have a season. And the only way that does not happen is if something happens in the cold season that creates a rampant increase of things, then you can see things stop again. But next time, stop to a point, not like where they were before early this year, but a lot worse. You see what I'm saying? And it's a lot of economic people out there are saying the same thing, is that it's not just that, it's something else as well. And if you watch what's going on in the Asian nations, they're dealing with stuff that's not the same stuff here, but something else. So something's going on. Something's going on, man. Something going on. We just got to keep our eyes to it. And we got to keep our eyes and our minds open at all times in these very, very tough times. I'm just going to keep it real with you. But thanks for the question, Tyra, baby. Who that? All right. Okay. Aaron says Chauncey Gardner-Johnson could be a defensive version of Taysom Hill. He's a hybrid defensive end. No doubt about it. In my opinion, it's most certainly Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is extremely awesome. Who that to you, Dr. Key? I see you, Dr. Key. Who that to you, man? Good to see you in the chat as well, family. Good to see you. And much love to you. But we're gonna get to the end of the show, family. I was calling y'all. I was calling out to y'all. I guess I did call y'all, didn't you? I called y'all. Y'all answered the phone. But I called y'all just to let y'all know, man. Just to put it on your mind about. No problem, Ty. I appreciate you, baby. But I'm just hollering at the family, man. Just to share some thoughts on the Jadevon Clowney among the Malcolm Jenkins and other things with you, as opposed to wait to Wednesday. For people who don't know, the Sports Coma, aka the Great Saint Think Tank, shows are Wednesdays at 5 o'clock, and Saturday at 5 o'clock. So sometimes Wednesdays at 6, but Wednesdays at 5, Saturdays at 5 is the best way to look at it. And we broadcast live on those shows. Of course, we do update content all the time on our 24-hour live stream. And like we like to say, we are Saint evolutionaries over here. We are breaking the mold with a lot of stuff and moving a lot of stuff forward. I believe in progression. I believe in climbing and making spectacular things happen. I think we got a bunch of spectacular family members in the Great Saint Think Tank, and we continue to climb, baby, and move forward with that mind frame in mind. So who that's all the Black and Gold family members for chiming in this edition of the Sports Coma as well. And just like I said, just to let some of the family members know, tomorrow we'll be on our Patreon tomorrow for the TSC Q&A, a live show we do every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I moved it up to 6 from 7. Just so my dog Dada could participate, because he got to work late. He got to work early, so we had to get a show up an hour. So see, we acquiesce. BR Fitted 225. Who that to your family? I see you as well in the chat. Much love to you. Big ups to your fam. And I think I seen somebody ask the question. I just might have missed it slightly. I guess. Okay, John Thompson says best nickname in NFL, Big Q, Greedy Williams. I like that. Yeah, Greedy Williams. That's fire. That's fire. I do like that. I've always liked Greedy Williams. He's down here at LSU doing this thing. He disappeared up there. I think he went Cleveland, didn't he? Either Cleveland or Washington. Either those deadbeat teams. But anyway, just to let the family members know, TSC Q&A is tomorrow at 6 o'clock on our Patreon channel. If you want to participate in it, it's a more personable show where people can actually be seen on the show. You can contact and have a more personable look. It's like a group dynamic attached to it as well. It's real personable. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, you'll get to see the TSC Q&A live show exclusively for the Patreon and YouTube members that can participate in that. Go to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network for more information. Also, to let the family members know about Pro Radio. We got Pro Radio, which is the audible or audio version of our visual broadcasts available at Pro Network, but they span back into the catalog. So it's backlog of shows from the Sports Coma, the Pelican Post Game Report, which is our New Orleans Pelicans show, Ring King Boxing World, which is our boxing show that we do, and Tough Tiger Talk, which is our LSU podcast. Is backloaded. New and backloaded episodes are available on Pro Radio. Spreaker.com/the Sports Coma. All of these links are in the description section below. You don't have to kind of hair up and write them down. Just simply scroll to the description section, and they are all organized and put right there for your viewing pleasure. Also, to let the family members know about the Pro Shop. We have several Pro Shops. You can take your pick. Those links in the description section below. We have Pro Apparel, which is our own gear made by our own designers. And we have over 40 different styles. And that's not just shirts or hoodies or all this kind of stuff. It's also coffee mugs, smartphone cover case. I mean, leggings, socks, towels, bedding, all kind of stuff, art, wall art, all of that. It's so much stuff. It's literally hundreds of products available at the Pro Shops. We also have hats and masks as well. We have the new masks, several new masks that's out. So if you want to support the platform and you love what we're doing, you want to support the Great Saint Think Tank and what we're doing, you can feel free to go to the Pro Shops, links in the description section below, and help out the Great Saint Think Tank. So for all of the great family members that's chiming in tonight, thank y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for chiming in. Thank y'all for your support. And just to let a lot of the family members know about TJ, I forget TJ's last name, but TJ from the State of the Saints podcast I'm in contact with TJ. I reached out to him to come on the show. And I'm doing some other stuff. I'm not going to tell you right now, but I'm working on something that I think y'all will be appreciative of. I'm working on something big, and just be patient. We're going to get TJ on the Sports Coma. Let him come on. He's been gracious. Let me tell you something. TJ is a cool dude, man. TJ is a cool dude, man. I like him. He's a good brother. I consider him an honorary Great Saint Think Tank member. And that's how we is when we see it. I see all of our Saint people as one family. You see what I'm saying? And I appreciate what brothers do and what they contribute to the culture, what they contribute to the community. So as a sign of respect, because that's how I was taught. that if you respect somebody and they doing something positive, you let that man know or that lady know that you respect what they're doing, and you reach out to them, you extend a hand. I'm not too big to extend my hand out and reach out to people and talk to people and have a conversation with people. We talk to people all the time on the show. We get reporters to come on the show. We open the phone lines up and talk. And I appreciate TJ. I love what he's doing, man. I love his insight. I love his passion. TJ Jones, thank you, Tyra. Appreciate you. There you go. He's a good dude, man. I like TJ a lot. He comes in and supports. And that's what I'm saying, man. In order to get, you got to give. You know what I'm saying? You got to give support to get support. You know, and that's what I'm saying about TJ. I love how he think. I won't bring him on here. And I'm working on that. Just be patient with me. There's some other factors. I ain't going to tell you about it, Chet, baby. I ain't going to tell you, baby, not Chet, baby. But your boy working on something, baby. We working behind the scenes, baby. A little razzmatazz, baby. So that's an old school word. That's how you know I got old soul. A little razzmatazz. Yeah, baby, a little razzmatazz, baby. And that's something that was what Reverend Saint would say. He ain't gonna say he working with some magic. He gonna say, yeah, baby, I'm working with a little razzmatazz, baby. We're working behind the scenes, baby. But yeah, just to let y'all know, we're working on something. But we're gonna get TJ and on the show coming up real soon. So y'all just be patient with me on that. So I appreciate him. Thank you, TJ, as well for your support. Support my brother. You out there listening. Thank you, my brother. Much love to you and Yearn. And I'll be in touch with you, my friend. But I thank everybody for tuning in the show tonight. Please hit the like button. Please take this show's link and share it in your social media feed. If you want to support the show, either Patreon or Super Chat or anything, look in the description section below. It's a lot of stuff going on here. We got a 24-hour live feed that's never been done. A 24-hour live feed of straight up Saints content, news and notes. At any time you want to hear some Saint talk, feel free to jump on the stream. It don't matter what time it is, 2 or 3 o'clock, baby. It don't matter, baby. Hop on the stream. So a lot of people are picking up to it. We're getting a lot of people, international people that's signing in, and I think it's a beacon, a flashing beacon to let them know we ain't playing with you. We 100% die hard, serious about the Saints and what we doing. So we marching it up on every level, opening up and handling business. So I thank all you guys for supporting us and what you're doing. Much love to you and Yearn and everybody out there in the great Saint Think Tank, to my YouTube members and my Patreon champions. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock on TSC Q&A. Wednesday will be our next show that'll be available at Wednesday at 5 o'clock on this channel. And then, of course, our Saturday stream is for 5 o'clock as well. So just to let you guys know. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Who dat? Peace. And I'm out.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl.
You're listening to the Sports Coma, the